Good afternoon and welcome to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. We are excited to have in the studio with us today Reverend James Kirkwood. I call him chairman because I've had an opportunity to work with him on the Memphis Civilian Law Enforcement Review Board. He's a retired MPD. I think you were like a colonel,
Yes.
major, colonel,
Colonel.
colonel, and just an all-around great guy. Got him in the studio. We're going to talk about a number of things, but just want you to know he's also a candidate for the Memphis City Council in District 3. Chairman Kirkwood, welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate the invite. It's always just good to be in your presence, Deidre. It is.
Well, look, we've had so many conversations, so I really want to get this one on record, right? So, Chairman, how has it been since you've been the chairman of CLERB? Because you were associated with the organization, you were a member of the board, and then you were elected chairman.
Yes, it was, that election, that kind of threw me for a while, but I was glad to serve in that capacity, and I've been serving in that capacity because it gave me a chance to really learn about what we needed for our CLERB to be effective. It allowed me to be a voice for CLERB, also to travel and go see other civilian law enforcement review boards throughout our nation and see the good work that they are doing and how they are working with community and police to better serve and to better address whatever issues that were going on. So it was good.
Well, and I know that you've worked really hard, and I know you're disappointed that the state came in and changed the whole dynamic of CLERB, but you were really working really hard to expand the role within the community in terms of having subpoena power, having additional oversight of investigations. How does that make you feel to know that the state, came in and just wiped all of that out?
Well, now, Deidre, I'm this optimistic guy, and while I wish they had not done that, I was disappointed, but I had to look, come on, you got to get over it, Kirkwood, because at the end of the day, the people need to be served, and the people need a civilian law enforcement review board to do all that it can do. And so today I'm at the table saying, all right, what are the things that we can do? All right, let's do those things and let's do them well. Let's hire personnel that can make sure that our community knows how to file a complaint if they have an issue. Let's still work with our police department so that we can get the information that's needed, so that we can review the cases that will come before us, so that we can serve our community. At the end of the day, we have to figure out how do we bridge the relationship between community and police, and how do we make sure and hold our police department accountable when they have done infractions. When they have done good, let's exonerate. You did a good job. But also, how can we educate our community as to what police can and cannot do, those things. So I think going forward, that's what we have to focus on. And hopefully in the future, we'll come again and get all those things that we want. But we will do what we can with what we have.
I got to tell our audience, just full transparency, I've had an opportunity to work with Chairman Kirkwood on media relations, and let me just tell you, he's phenomenal. I think some people, Chairman, had a thought that because you are a retired police officer and then chairing CLERB, that you might have a conflict. But from day one, you never had a conflict. It was all about the people.
It was all, yeah. Well, see, I think so oftentimes people don't realize that I became a policeman to serve the community. One of the things that motivated me to be a policeman was that I saw police brutality. I saw a man getting beat when I was a kid. And it was there that I heard, it was like I heard God speak to me and say, you're going to be a policeman when you grow up, and you're going to serve your community, and you're going to treat them the way they're supposed to be treated. And so God blessed me to do just that, and I was always working to serve community because I see police officers as servant. I am a servant. and you just serve. You give, where people need you, you go and you assist to make life better for them. And so that's how I've advocated. That's what I do. When police are wrong, we're wrong, all right? And when police are right, we're right, all right? But you need individuals who will honestly judge a matter, without trying to figure out how to be against.
Right.
I'm just this guy who says, I cannot afford to be against you or be against our police department, but I can be against wrong. All right, I can be against wrong on wherever it's at. And so that's how I tend to move in life.
I don't know if our audience knows this, but I'm a daughter of a Chicago police officer. He died young. I'm not in service, but my uncle was a police officer, my dad's brother. And then my youngest brother, John, was a police officer. So I grew up
around police.
Yeah. Oh. So that's the reason I'm a little, I have no fear sometimes because, I knew my dad tried to do the right thing. And that's the reason he wanted to be in law enforcement. The same with my brother and my uncle. I think my uncle retired Chicago PD.
Chicago PD?
Chicago PD. Yeah, I know that was tough.
Hey, yeah. But that's the thing, I think
Colin
so oftentimes,
Carter.
I think so oftentimes we don't realize that the young men and women who are police officers, they really do lay it on the line.
Yeah, every day.
They do a lot of good work, all right? And we get sidetracked by some of the negative individuals that are out here doing things that are wrong. And I tell people, you got bad people in everything, all right?
Every industry.
I'm a preacher. You got some bad guys in preaching. I'm a man. You got some bad men, all right? But I've learned and I've worked with so many awesome young men and women in the police department. No one talks about Officer Redmond when he went and bought the old lady air conditioner. Right. You make a call and her air is out, and all of a sudden we get a call to routine, and he's taking up money from us, to go out here and purchase this lady an air conditioner.
Right.
Those kind of stories are taking place every day.
And you don't see those.
And you don't see those stories because police officers ain't out there, blowing their horn about all the good things they're doing.
Right.
The groceries they are buying, the Pampers they are buying, the children that they adopt. All right, the young men that they help move through school and athletics, that kind of thing. They don't toot their horn about that, but that's what they do. I was blessed to just really do great ministry, and I would tell preachers, they would ask me, "How you gonna preach and be a policeman?" I said, "Easy." I said they both go together. Both go together, and the police department gave me a platform to really do great ministry,
right?
All right, to really go out and help people and make lives better for a lot of people.
So Chairman, Chief Davis has been here. Is it going on year 2? Has it been 2 years?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
She's had a tough row to hoe, as they say in the country.
She did.
Yeah.
Yes, she has.
But I think she's doing well.
Yes.
She's had a lot of challenges. Of course, the very high-profile Tyree Nichols incident. I thought she handled it well. I think national media, even Attorney Ben Crump, who's been in the studio, we've interviewed him before, thought she handled it well. She's just one individual.
Yes.
How many police officers does she have working for?
Almost 23, 20.
Yeah, 300.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the job she's doing?
I think she's done a good job. All right. I think coming into our city, she's worked to move the police department ahead. I like the fact that I'm a stickler on leadership, and I like the fact that she brought forth a leadership academy. Because I think our officers need to be trained to be good leaders for their department as well as for the community. I really appreciated that. She has, when it came to the Civilian Law Enforcement Review Board,
yes.
I could pick up the call and, phone and call her. She was very, very, responsive. When we sent our recommendations, she listened to them.
That's good.
And she did make some changes. She addressed them. So I felt as though I feel as though she's done a good job. I don't know what the outcome would be, but I hope it's favorable because I think she can continue to move us in the way that we should go. Our department, and people don't realize Memphis really has a very good police department. When you compare us to other police departments nationwide, you have to know that a lot of police departments come to Memphis to see how to do community policing, to see how to work with investigations, to see how we work well with Crime Stoppers. Our CIT program, how we have worked on the police department to, address mental illness and to respond to it properly. So I think, Memphis just don't know how well we have it when it comes to police.
Well, you've had some incredible police directors there. She's a chief now, but Melvin Burgess. I remember when Melvin Burgess, my old school reporter, Director Ivy.
Yes.
Tony, Tony Armstrong was one of my favorite. Yeah, he could be mayor today. Let me just say that. He could be mayor today. And then Mike Rawlings, right? Mike's going on. I think he's working for Baptist as their director of security. So he's going on. Tony's going on. He's the director of security for St. Jude. So we've had some really good police directors.
We have.
Yeah.
And here's the beautiful thing. They came from Memphis.
They did.
They came from Memphis. They did an outstanding job. They grew up here.
Yeah.
And they have done amazing things. They've done some real good work. And they would hear the community. They would listen to the community. I think when it comes to leadership, one of the biggest things is that you have to have an ear for the community, and you have to be willing to go to the community to sit and listen to them.
Because I think they, have a deeper level of respect for you when you come out of the community because they feel like you will listen.
Yes.
Like Tony grew up in North Memphis.
Yes.
And he would tell me all the time, I can go to North Memphis.
Yeah.
People know me. I can walk down the street in North Memphis.
Everybody knew him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mike Rawlings, I didn't know. Rawlings, I grew up in Scudderfield.
Yeah.
And Rawlings would come. He had an aunt who lives right down the street in Scudderfield, and he would come during the summer. And I was like, wait a minute, really? So they grew up in this city.
Yeah. So, to Chief Davis's perspective, she came out of, I know she was in Atlanta. And then was it North Carolina? Durham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But sometimes an outside perspective is needed.
Hey, listen, I love transplants.
Right.
All right. I love transplants, and we have to be a city that can bring in transplants.
And be okay with it.
It's part of growth.
Yeah.
It's part of growth. And, you should look outside, and you should want to be a city that can attract outside talent to come to you, all right? You should be a community that wants growth, all right? You want people to be able to move into your area,
right.
New people, and most of the time those new people will be coming from outside of the city, and they'll be moving in, and you want to embrace them, and you want to make sure that you can glean from what they bring. And so the director, the chief now, she comes from outside the city, but she has a long line of accomplishments that we can benefit from. And I think that we are benefiting from. And so we should welcome that.
So, Chairman, before we talk about the city council race, I want to talk about something else that you're doing, after you retired from MPD. Now you're working with young men and women, right?
Right.
On training them to do what?
The electrical apprenticeship program.
Talk to me about that.
Okay, the Memphis Christian Pastors Network. When I retired, I went to work for the Memphis Christian Pastors Network as their executive director. And there's a group of pastors, about 60 churches, and cross-denominational lines, cross-racial lines, mega church, small church. And our two area of focus was to make sure that we do something. We have impact in reducing poverty. All right. And in that effort, the body decided to work on moving young men and women into the vocational trades, career technology trades for, old school vocational trades,
Votech,
plumbing,
right.
electrician, carpentry, painter, brick mason. And so we have been working to move young men and women into the electrical apprenticeship program right down the street from you on Madison, the IBEW. I just left there this morning with 5 young men going to work out at the Blue Oval site, making $15.55 an hour. There's a $600 a week bonus, incentive pay. I mean, these guys.
That's amazing.
Now, here's the deal. What we were focused on is how do we reduce poverty? We do it by moving people into careers, jobs that on the onset, at the very beginning, you'll begin to earn income that places you above poverty. All right. So when you enter into this job, those guys enter into a job, a career that automatically moved them out of poverty. All right. And so that's what the network is working to do. And so we build partnerships. All right. We build partnerships. And Arch Key, a Lorenzo Ellis guy, he's out there. Arch Key came to the city and they was looking, and somebody said, hey, man, you need to call Kirkwood. And praise the Lord.
Yes.
They called me, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's work on it.
So the partnership, is that with Blue Oval City, or no, who is the partnership?
The partnership is with IBEW and Arch Key.
Okay, Arch Key.
They have the electrical contract out at Blue Oval site.
Okay, with Waldridge.
Yeah. And so we work to move young men and women
awesome.
Into those trades. And we help them for the construction wireman position. And what we're trying to do is move them to the electrical apprenticeship program.
Okay.
And they have to test. So we put on workshops, intensives, to help them pass the test. All right. With that, we partnered with Progeny Place.
Okay.
We partnered with Progeny Place and Breakthrough Leadership Foundation.
Progeny Place, is that
Ronnie Brewer?
Yes.
Ronnie Brewer.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Ronnie.
We partnered with her. And so we just work to just move these young men and women, because Progeny Place is trying to move you out of poverty also. Okay. And I'm just this guy who believes, listen, whatever problems you have, God has given us the ability within ourselves to come forth, work together, and create solutions. This is one of those solutions that we came together in partnership. We couldn't do it by ourselves. We had to partner with individuals to get it done. And so in doing so, we've helped about 40 guys go to CW.
Stop.
Making that $6,000 a month. We have about 10 to 12 that's in the apprenticeship program. And all those 37 that went over into the CW program, we're going to be moving them. We're working with them to go into the electrical apprenticeship program. So
that's a blessing.
Hey.
So how, if there's somebody out there watching this program and they're interested in joining the program, how can they join?
They could go to mcpn.org.
Okay.
Memphis Christian Pastors Network. mcpn.org, Memphis CPN.
Okay.
MemphisCPN.org, and just click on that link, fill out the information, and we'll get back in touch with you if you want to work. All right. And some of these guys are ex-felons that we've been able to help. That was another beautiful thing.
Well, let me just say, when I was at Families Matters graduation for a father's involvement really matters, their first graduation. It was 4 or 5 young men. And the last young man who stood up and he thanked you and a couple of other men that were there, because he had gone through the program and he was about to graduate. But when they mentioned that he was hired by Blue Oval City and that he was a former felon.
Yeah, he came through us.
He came through you.
Awesome young man.
And, he talked about how it's just changed his life.
Yes, he is so excited. He's talking about getting married now. I'm like, hey, I got to send you to marriage counseling. You ain't going to marry nobody until you go to counseling, my brother. But I'm so excited for that young man. And he is, when people really appreciate what you've done. That guy calls me so much.
Does he?
Yes, he calls me, texts me, and just said, "Hey, Pops, Big Daddy." I'm like, don't be calling me no Big Daddy, man. But he calls me. He just say, "I just want you to know, man, I'm out here. I'm working. This is absolutely wonderful. I cannot thank you enough." I cannot thank you enough. He really appreciates it.
And see, I think that's what some of our young men and women need, is just an opportunity. Most people don't want to be in poverty. Most people don't want to be sitting at home or out doing something they shouldn't be doing. They want an opportunity.
They want to
make good money to take care of their families.
Yes, and that's what we work on doing. All right, we work doing that. And I'm a firm believer, Deidre, that if you don't believe in the sons and daughters that have come from you, then who's going to believe in them? We have to believe in our sons and daughters. Even when they make mistakes, we have to believe in them. I'm blessed because so many people believed in me.
Right.
They believed in me, and they laughed at me. When I did dumb stuff, they laughed and said, boy, don't do that. All right. We have to believe in our young people. Even if we see them messing up, we have to speak to the awesome man that is within them.
Right.
Because within all those young men who even mess up, there's a good man on the inside. And that's the man you need to be talking to a lot of times when you see him moving in the wrong direction. You need to speak to that good man, that solid man, that man that can do and accomplish all those things that you want, the young man that you want to speak to. Sometimes you need to call them together and say, hey, come here. I'm talking to the good man in you.
Exactly.
Right? I need that man to rise up.
And then, Chairman, a lot of our families are single parent households. It's just the moms, sometimes the dads aren't around.
Yeah.
And so for some of those young men, it's like they don't know how to be good men, or they don't know. Now, their mom may take them to church, try and teach them, and try their best.
Yes.
But sometimes it does just take a man.
It takes a man.
To teach them those things that only a man can teach them, because we don't know. I was just blessed that my dad was around as long as he could be, and then I had, uncles who helped with the 5 of us. And my sons were blessed because their dad was there. Everybody gets in trouble, but in the back of their heads, there was always either my voice or my husband's voice saying, don't let so-and-so get in your car.
Yes.
Because you already know what so-and-so's doing, right? But a lot of people don't have that. And so, to go through a program and have mentors like you and others, I do think that's just a blessing.
It is a blessing. I'm blessed. I didn't have a father. Or should I say I had a father.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I give my father credit on Father's Day because he taught me everything not to do.
Yeah.
Right? But God blessed me with a father, Vandy Rankin. He's my godfather and Sunday school teacher.
Yes.
Who did more than just Sunday school, who took time with me and mentored me and carried me. And we are still father-son today. His wife opened up her home to us.
Yes.
And he did an amazing job. And what I asked him, he did an amazing job. And what I asked him, I wanted to pay him back. I'm like, what do you want? I want to give you something nice. I want to pay you back. And he said, son, here's how you pay me back. Go give what I gave you. And I was like, wow. And so.
And you're doing it.
Yeah. And I worked, I took in 4 young men and I fathered them. They doing well. And I still do it. I'm always focused on how do I build our men. Because now, Deidre, I'm this guy who says one of the most important gifts to a family is father.
Oh, yeah.
And we cannot ever negate that. We can't make it small. And we have to be honest that the absence of fathers have hurt us.
It has.
Which tells us how important fatherhood is.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I work with a firm.
Right.
Because the firm is out there bringing fathers back into the picture, helping fathers to navigate those relationships with their children's mother so that they can be present in the lives of their children. Fatherhood is absolutely crucial. It is important, and we have to embrace it, and we have to put it on a pedestal.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's been knocked off, but we have to be intentional. That's why I'm very intentional about putting fatherhood on a pedestal. When people say my mom was my dad, I be like, no, she wasn't.
Right.
She was an overworked mom.
And she did the best, the best that she could. Yes.
But she was not your father.
Exactly.
All right? And we have to own that. And we have to, and I, my mom did an amazing job.
Yeah.
All right. But my mom was smart that she went and found some men for me to be around, good, solid men for me to be around so that I could glean from it.
So, Chairman, now you're about to transition all of this work that you've done over the course of your life, your professional life, your public service life, into another level of public service. You're thinking about, well, you're not thinking because you've decided and you're running for Memphis City Council District 3. What made you decide to do that?
I've always, 10th grade, Barbara Tyler. 10th grade, Barbara Tyler looked at me. We was in class. We was having discussions over issues. You know, Barbara Tyler would always bring issues. She was a history teacher. And I was responding to an issue. And I was like, and she looked at me. She said, boy, you need to run for office. You need to run. You need to go into politics. And I looked at it and I hid it. You know, how you just hold things in your heart and you leave it alone. So, and people would always say, Kirkwood, you need to run. You need to represent. And I'm like, well, one day. And so I've always wanted to run in District 3. I always knew it. But when I was police on the police department, I learned as I went up in rank that the higher the rank I went, the better I was able to serve the community. Yes. I could put things in place. I could really work. And I could galvanize the people, all right? Because the people felt as though I belonged to them, right? I'm a Memphis Christian Pastors Network executive director, and so oftentimes people think I just belong to the Memphis Christian Pastors Network, that I don't belong to the other networks, the other citizens in that thing. And so I'm like, okay, when I run for city council, I will once again belong to all the people in District 3. And they will see me as their servant, all right? Because, you know, when you look at what I've done, you've always saw me just serve, because that's what I do. That's what I know my why, all right? My why is to serve, to make things better, all right, for the people, to serve people, to make things better. So, you know, I decided to run so that I could belong to all of District 3. I've served District 3 as a colonel, Hickory Hill as a lieutenant colonel, you know, and
so you served in the district.
I've served in the district. Yeah,
right.
I served in the district. I know the district. Awesome people in Oak Haven. There are awesome groups within Oak Haven. Even you go over there to that Thistlewood community that you tend to not look at. I mean, beautiful people there. But I wanted to serve, to really address the issues that we're dealing with, to galvanize us and bring us together, to be their servant, to help figure out strategies to reduce crime in our area, to reduce poverty in our area. The beautiful thing about District 3 is that while, you know, people look at it and think there's not a lot of poverty there, there's some poverty there. It's like 30%, you know, 23, 25. But when you look at the income, you say, well, but they make some good money. I'm like, yeah, but guys, let's be realistic. The economy is eating away at those dollars, all right? And so we need to boost our economy by moving young men and women into those jobs. So workforce development is crucial for District 3. Right. It has to have it going on. And so we've been blessed to put these programs together and pull young men and women out of District 3. My thing is I need you to stay in District 3.
Stay in District 3.
And bring that money back to District 3. When it comes to, you see a lot of areas where it's blighted now, it's abandoned warehouses or buildings, malls, that kind of thing. Well, you know, I've learned from being around women, Deidre, that you all always do makeovers, you know. And so when I see blight, I think it's an opportunity for us to redo, make over, make our community something special. My wife always said, we need to paint these walls. I'm like, paint the walls? Ain't nothing wrong with these walls. She said, yes, they are. But every time we do it, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. And so we can just make things over in our community. We can make things that are attractive for us, you know, by us. And we can spearhead with community development. We can spearhead entrepreneurship. You know, I'm real serious about new businesses, you know, for our young lions,
right?
Coming on, you know, new restaurants, new entertainment centers.
Well, you know, Whitehaven is doing well when now Starbucks is coming to Whitehaven.
Yes.
Can you believe that? Muggins was doing well, and I guess Starbucks said, well, you know, you got an African American business, black folks are buying coffee. let us set up a Starbucks in Whitehaven. I'm hoping that people stay true and firm to Muggins, though.
Yes.
We've got 30 seconds. My producer's telling me I need to wrap up, Chairman. This has been a delight. I am so glad you had an opportunity to come on Dialogue with Deidre. You know you're welcome to come back anytime. Now, you got 10 seconds. What do you want to say to the voters in District 3?
Hey, listen, I want you to, do I look at the camera?
Yeah, look at that right there.
Look right there. Hey, I'm looking forward to serving you. If you want someone who's going to serve, who's been serving you, who understands how to build relationships. You've heard me talk about all the relationships that I work now to serve within our community. We can make District 3 a beautiful place to live, where people will come and try to move in, as I did a few years ago. We can solve our problems. The crime we can reduce. The poverty we can reduce when we come together. Together we are so much better. And District 3 is Whitehaven, Oak Haven, Fox Meadows, Parkway Village, and Hickory Hill. When all those entities come together, all right, to sit down, to strategize on building solutions and putting those solutions in effect, we will see the District 3 that we love, we want, and we just desire. So hey, October 5th, vote for Kirkwood.
Reverend James Kirkwood has the last word. Thank you so much, Chairman Kirkwood, for being on Dialogue with Deidre. We'll see you next week.